Alright, so what we have done so far in Marmoset, let's go in and do those things in Unreal as well. Like how to create our basic material inside Unreal, how to create a cloth material. Then we are going to talk about building a skin material. And then we will talk a little bit about lights in Unreal and Marmoset both as well. So first, I'm just going to create maybe I'm just picking a setup. So let's try, where's the third person? Right here. So the third person one and Unreal Engine empty project 3 should be fine. Let's create a new project. All right, this is Unreal Engine. Do same as Marmoset. I'm not going about nuts and bolts of this guy. We are just using this to create our materials and showcase our models. So to save me some time, I'm gonna create a new folder and import everything which will be robot, the Chico and the cloth in a same scene, so I can save some time, and it's not gonna take us longer to divide that into different materials. So first will be Chico, next one will be robot, and last one will be cloth. I'll be importing the same objects which we imported in Marmoset because they are divided quite well. So for week 6, that will be work files. Marmoset, that's in the Marmoset folder, but we are using the same objects. That will be objects. And we need, let's import Chico first. Open, it should be fine. Convert scene, import materials, don't import textures, import all. Okay, so we have, let's delete this material, force delete, because I like to create things from scratch. So this will be Chico, move it under Chico, move here. Then I'm going to import every other thing that we have. Cloth is in, delete this guy, force delete. That will be new folder, cloth, that's fine, new folder, robot, import. Then we're importing our robot, which should be robo, import all, and it's split into a lot of objects. That's fine, we can always fix that. Let's delete it and let's import it together. Delete it, import robo, and alright, so Unreal does not have a setting to import as a single mesh, so I'm going to import all again. And for this one, we are going to keep our robot material specific because it's applied for everything. For you guys, I will provide you guys a combined mesh, so you will only have one robot mesh instead of all of these split together. But right now I'm going to use this one for example. So now I'm also going to import all the textures that I have, and it's going to go in speed mode. So again, we can save some time. Okay, so I imported my maps, but apparently I have imported them in a wrong place. So delete this, go back, go under robot, now import it. Okay, and I'm going to do the same thing for Chico and the cloth and import the materials I have exported for those guys. Alright, so I have imported everything in, and that will be cloth, Chico and robot. The face will be a separate topic. So I'm going to just select these guys, make him stand here. Go back in our robot, select every element that he has. Again, you guys will have a single mesh, so you don't have to worry about like all of these elements. Maybe rotate him, and maybe, I think he's floating, so guess my modeling was a bit off. So just moving him down, disable this, positioning him in the ground. He is not at the ground either, so pushing him up. Okay, so we have Chico, we have the robot, then we want the cloth. So the cloth will be right here. It should be fine. All right, so I can just play in. This is just me messing around. I can just see where every character is, jump in. All right, enough messing around things. So let's go in and create our material. So first, same thing as we started. Let's start with the robot. So this is the material assigned to every object. Let's go in. So right now it's a bit hard to manage things in a single monitor, but this is what our material editor looks like inside Unreal Engine. And we have our shader ball which showcases what's happening, and we have our shader settings right here. This one is our shader, and everything that goes, it's kind of okay. So to explain it a bit better, think of all, so these are all of the channels that we have in Substance Painter. So you can see base color, metallic, specular, roughness, emissive color, same thing which we had in our Substance Painter channels. And this guy is taking all of these and combining them to form a shader to tell our rendering engine how to calculate our material with the lights. Okay, don't have to overthink, just think of this guy as a main connecting point for all of your texture maps. Okay, let me just change up. Oh, it's middle. Why is it not working then? Oh, okay, my short grid was acting a bit weird. So let me delete the texture it comes up with. All right, so Unreal has a bit of a step you should keep in mind to create a material. So let's go it one by one. To start with, we have our material in front of us. Then you want to click on your metal roughness occlusion. So it says occlusion roughness metallic map, and you want to disable sRGB. So what's happening? Substance has packed our maps into different channel. So red channel has AO, green channel has roughness, blue channel has metallic. So what's happening right now is all of these are grayscale value, but Unreal will treat the whole map as an sRGB. We want Unreal to treat every channel as a grayscale one. So you have to disable this. It's gonna take a while, it usually does. All right, so let's save it out and done. So you have to save it out before plugging that in your material. So once we are done, let's select all of these guys, drag and drop to our material editor, and this is our main packed one. Then we have our base color, this is our emissive, and this is our normal map. So let's make it full screen. So I'm gonna plug in our normal map. To normal map, I'm just left clicking, holding and dragging to plug in this node. Okay, so next up we have our base color, plugging it in the base color, emissive, plugging it in the emissive color. All right, easy peasy, nothing new. It's new but nothing hard. It's like just doing 1 + 1. Okay, then in this thing that has occlusion, roughness and metal packed together. So red channel has AO, drag and drop red channel to AO. Green channel has our roughness and blue channel has metallic. So this white thing is our final map, which has all of these channels, and these colors are RGB channels. And the last one is the alpha channel, which we don't have in any of these maps. Once we are done, once this is constructed, let's save it. It does take a while to compile the shader, but you can see our material is constructed and we can see what it's doing. So it should have been applied in our robot. And as you can see, our robot is quite darker than what it looks right here, because the lighting situation we have right now is quite bright, but the light we have in this scene are a little bit darker. That's why we keep our albedo more on the bright side, because in the end, when you have like a unified light in a game, things seems to get darker. That's why we keep it lighter, so it looks good in every lighting situation. All right, I might, instead of just go in and changing the lights again, I might just go in and add few lights in front of my character to see how my material is doing. I'm going to decrease my speed. It's quite too much right now. All right, so we have our first material made in. Pretty simple. Not as simple as Marmoset's drag and drop, but it's simple as well. Now let's go in and create our texture for Chico. So I'm going to speed up the process because it's going to be the same as the robot. All right, so let's close this. We want to apply the changes. Then go to new folder. That will be Chico, and this time I'm creating new materials because I don't have a lot of pieces. So that will be face, new material. That will be legs, new material, and that will be torso. So let's go in and do the same thing for our combined maps, which has AO, roughness and metallic. Disable sRGB. Alright, since everything is changed to non-sRGB, our packed maps, I'm going to create it the same way as we just did for the robot. So this one is leg. Alright, so we have our materials made up. Now all I have to do is drag and drop, drag and drop, and drag and drop. Okay, so our character is complete inside Unreal Engine. Again, you can see it's quite darker in this scene. This one hasn't been properly unified according to the PBR setup, but you can obviously spot what we meant by keeping things lighter. They usually get darker inside our Unreal. The face seems fine because it was bright to start with. So we have that thing going on. These things are getting a bit darker. So let me try changing N. I accidentally stopped my recording, but let's continue it from where we left. So this one hasn't been properly calibrated according to the filter that we discussed in PBR section. That's why you can spot it looks quite dark. But yeah, if you have everything done in the under the right values, it's going to look fine in different lighting situation. For now, I'm just going to fake it using the lights that we have in our scene. So I'm just going to increase those. So if I go to my details with this one, and if I change, too much. Let's change. Where are the units? 2, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 10, and rotate its direction. So now we can see our character more clearly. All right. Our materials are working fine, everything is going good, our character looks nice. So that's how we construct simple materials inside Unreal Engine, the same way which we did for the robot and the same way which we have done right here. Let's delete these guys, they're annoying me. But yeah, this is a little bit better. Okay. Let's discuss the next thing about the cloth. So I'm going to start the cloth the same way. So going to cloth, creating a new material. Let's not name it because I'm lazy right now. So save it, file save. Not save it, but disable sRGB and then save it. It does take a quite long time which gets annoying, like Unreal compiles its shader every time you make changes. That's why personally I prefer Marmoset a bit, because it's quite quick, like plug and play as we discussed. But Unreal has a pretty good shading system, especially for skin. It's getting super crazy. We're going to talk about this in the next chapter. So let's see here, this one, this one, this one. Dragging my normal map, my base color, ambient occlusion, roughness, and metallic. Nothing new, same thing as we did for everything. Let's save this guy, but here's gonna be a catch. Alright, so since we made, if you remember, we made in Marmoset our shading system to be microfiber instead of Lambertian. We can do the same thing here. If I click on my shader, and if I go to my shading module, we can pick in cloth. I kinda don't like how Unreal deals with cloth. I still have to experiment more to get a better shading system out of it, but another engines like, I guess I cannot name any specific one, but if you look at another engines, for Naughty Dog as an example, their cloth shader is quite a bit better than Unreal right now. So yeah, so I still have to experiment more to figure out a comfortable zone, but right now what I have seems to be working quite fine, same as Marmoset. So what we have right now, we have our simple material done. This one has the textures in, and we are seeing the same thing as we textured, but we are missing the fuzz. So we have to add the fuzz. Let's go in and do that. All right, so this will be our first custom change in the material that we have made so far. All right, so before I start in, you guys can always re-watch it. I'm not going in detail about the notes that I'm adding. I'm adding those to get our work done. You can write those down, what I'm doing, but this is recorded video, so you can always go back. No point writing it down. If you prefer writing it down, just do that. So what we want to do is we want to add fuzz. To start with, I'm going to my base color. All right, so the first thing that we are adding is a fennel. We are adding a multiply. Nope. We are multiplying our fennel with a constant. So what I did right now, I hold 1, and if I left click, it creates a constant. If I have to get that, I can right click here and go to my constants and pick the first constant, applying it here. So what it's giving me, if I start previewing it, so you can see completely black, but if I make it white, which will, if I make it 1, it's giving me a white around the fennel. If I make it 0.1, it's giving me less of that. All right, so we have our fuzz done, but we have to assign this fuzz in our base color. So right click, add. So we are using a add, which is just basic mathematical add, 1 plus 1. So plug in this guy to A, plug in this guy to B, plug in this guy to base color, then apply and save. So one thing, if you guys did not know, you can. So this one works like this. So we have our, let's delete this. That's like a spoiler, but that's what we are doing in just 1 minute, so no worries. Yes, I want to delete this. Okay, so this is my material, and we have everything working. Let's save it out. So this is the original material that we created. So let's say I have a value of 0.1, but I want more fuzz. I make it 1, I save it out, then it's gonna recompile my shader, then it's gonna apply to our object and give us the preview. It's so annoying, it's super annoying. But what you can do in Unreal Engine, if you did not know, you can convert a constant or some of the nodes into a parameter. So it's a bit, so to explain parameter, I'll have to show you. It's better if I show you to explain it. So you right click, make it parameter, name it fuzz. So everything you make a parameter, you can turn that into something you can change live. So what we're going to do, we're going to save it again. So our first is the parameter. Remember that. Now if I go to my new material and make it a right click and make it a material instance. So this will be our material instance. Drag and drop this guy. And if I double click on it, it opens a new window. And the only parameter that we made is right here. So if I apply this guy, I can change my parameters value in real time and see the effect. Alright. So once you're happy with your main material, I usually make a material instance to see what we are doing. Not what we are doing, but to have more control. It basically makes things like Manu said, drag and drop. We will be building a more detailed material for our face, but for our cloth, we're just going to keep it like this. So that way we can add first to our cloth and have the same effect that we had in Manu set. Alright, sweet. So that covers up the face. Let's cover up the cloth. Let's move on to the main thing that everyone likes. That will be the face. Alright.